to cite or not to cite? That is the question we will be asking ourselves today, and hopefully the answers that we will be given based on what is common knowledge, so therefore what needs to be cited and what doesn't necessarily need to be cited in our APA-style research papers. Standard information from history. So things that a majority or many of the people would know without needing a reference to it, such as Charlemagne ruling as Emperor of Rome, the U.S. entering World War II after Pearl Harbor, or Paris as the capital of France. The idea here is that this is information that can be found quickly on any sort of random internet site that would pop up when you typed in Charlemagne or when you typed in major facts about World War II. But how do we know what's a major fact of history or what's standard information and what is not, what we need to cite? Well, let's look a little bit more closely. So, some common sense observations in red that don't necessarily need to be cited, and they're not so common counterparts in blue, information that should be cited. Inflation is troublesome. The majority of the population know this. We know that as inflation rises, we have less money to take home, the cost of living goes up, we don't have as much money to buy things, prices go up. And it can be troublesome because then we're sort of stretching our paycheck and stressed about money. But do we really know all there is to know about the Consumer Price Index and programs and urban consumers? No, we don't. So we might say inflation is troublesome as a topic sentence in our paper. And we might want to support this information with something from a source. So we went to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We found information about the Consumer Price Index, which helps support the idea that inflation is troublesome. And so that would be cited. And we notice our APA citation here. We have the author of the source, the year, and the paragraph that it came from, because notice it is a quote and there are quotation marks. So word for word in paragraph 1 of this source, we would find these words. Let's look at something else. Video games can be a distraction to students. This is so true. You might even be playing one now while you're watching this video. So we know that they're a distraction. I know I could be playing Candy Crush right now. But did you know that the worldwide video game marketplace will reach a certain billions of dollars in 2013, which is up from what it was in 2012? No, not necessarily off the top of your head. That's something that you found by this author in this year in that source in paragraph 2. Notice again, it's a quote. We have the quotation marks. So this could be a great topic sentence for a paragraph in a paper about video games and distractions and student outcomes in college or high school based on whether or not a student spends a certain amount of time playing video games. This from the source would help support it. Let's take one more look at something. Again, not getting enough sleep is not good for a person's health. This is especially true in week 12 of the semester when you've got 500 papers to write and 300 tests and things just seem to be crashing down and you know that you're not feeling up to par. We all know that it's common knowledge. But maybe you want to support that with some research that looked at 2,078 patients whose surgeons worked between midnight and 7 a.m. the night before. That's kind of scary. But we looked at Bidwell's source and we found this information in paragraph 3, and we thought it would be a great help to show, to highlight, to give us additional information on how not getting enough sleep could not be good for a person's health, especially the person on the operating table, I would imagine. So how do you tell if you need to cite something? Common knowledge is information that a majority of people know. It's beyond dispute. You can Google something, or you can look it up on Bing, or you can look it up in a search engine, and you find that information immediately. So you might not have ever known the state bird of Georgia or even the state bird of Delaware where we are, but you could easily look it up in an encyclopedia, on Wikipedia, heaven help us, or on a website or other resource that's out there. But if you're really not sure if something's common knowledge, go ahead and provide a reference for it. You might be working in the nursing field already, but you're taking classes as a nurse. This does not necessarily make you an expert on every topic. So you need to find that line of what you might feel is common knowledge and what your audience might not. So it might be best to cite that information. Same thing if you're a criminal justice major. Same thing if you're a business major, accounting, whatever your major is. I'm an English major. So let's end with something that I started with. As an English major, I know that To Be or Not to Be, that is the question, was written by Shakespeare in Hamlet. Now, I did not know it was in Act 3, Scene 1. I had to look that up. But I knew what play it came from. You might not. So if you were going to question me about whether or not I knew that, I now have a citation for it. And so that you can see, I did not come up with that on my own. That was something that was originally done by Shakespeare way back, even before I was born, and that he used it in Hamlet in Act 3, Scene 1. So I hope this gives you an idea of what's common knowledge, what's not, what you need to cite, and what you don't necessarily need to cite. And again, when in doubt, cite it.